A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen throughout the world. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Actually, it's not weekend. Jeez, I must be crazy. Shouldn't every day be like weekend? Interesting things to ponder upon. So we have a bank holiday tomorrow, therefore I thought it was weekend, but apparently it's not. So, all good there. How are you doing? And I'm back. There you go. The channel still runs under my name. This is the main channel that we have with the most subscribers. And I did try to rename it as the Gnostic Takeover, but technically it didn't work. It didn't work for some reason, and then I just cut to the chase, and I'm just like avoiding that technical difficulty because it's not really one of my biggest strengths. But I'm back. I'm back. I was freshly banned by YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for telling me that I'm doing something right. And also, you know what I did when I got banned? So there was a complaint that you can do, and I just wrote a notice of liability directly to the CEO of YouTube, energetically directing it at her, okay, that there is consequences to your immoral behavior. Let me just find out. YouTube. What her name is. Oh, there we go. Susan Wojcicki. All right, Susan. Susie, as I like to call you. You're in no way above me, okay, or any one of the Gnostic Takeover crew. So we're holding you liable, okay, for all the crimes against humanity that you're committing in your position. And I know you're just a patsy, so that's why we won't worry about you too much, but enough to take you down, okay? Because of the very fact that you're censoring human speech, which is the basis for freedom. Therefore, you are eliminated and deleted from the new world that we're creating. How about that? Do you like that? Well, then you have to change your behavior, okay? In order to fit in with us, because we will never fit in to your Nazi style censorship of information. Okay, so that's that. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy I'm back at YouTube. Maybe we've got some really, really cool people working in YouTube whose minds AI and 5G can't read, apparently, because I think there's good people everywhere. There's good people all across the institutions throughout the world, okay, who know what's going on. And that's why the Gnostic Takeover modus operandi is not to have an enemy anywhere. Because when you study the enemy, as I related and mentioned in our last talk, the enemy needs to be studied to detail and dissected to the very essence. Okay, you filter it out. It's like something you pour into a filter, okay, and you dilute the essence, and then you've got that which is left, and the other stuff, you throw away, which is still left in the in the in the filter. You throw that away, and you've got this stuff left, and then you boil it up, and then you've got more of the essence, and you can do that process until you go right to the core of things. And when you go right to the core, there is no one you can pinpoint and blame and say, that's the bad guy and I want to take him out. Because when you really want to take over the world, like the Gnostic takeover wants to do, yeah, we're taking over the whole world. We're taking back the planet. We keep saying this in full confidence because only then will we create it. Yeah, and that's why they fucked with our self-confidence, okay? With our confidence in ourself and our self-worth. One of the main things that I've been working on in my life is my self-worth, my confidence. Because I've been unconfident throughout most of my life. Oh, who would have guessed? Well, how about the lions with the most scars are the strongest? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Do you think that we were supposed to have an easy life? Well, when things are always easy in your life, you're not gonna change jack shit, will you? So if you would have chosen an easy life, you'll be taking a vax right now, okay? Which is equivalent to your tomb spiritually, okay? Doesn't mean that you have to die from it, alright? But it's the equivalent of your tomb when you choose to go down that road. And that's what we here at the Gnostic Takeover are all about, is going the deep journey, that which is most uncomfortable, that which challenges you all the way, because that's what it takes, okay? That's what it takes to take back the planet, is to go really, 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 really deep, not deep down the rabbi hole, all the rabbi holes that they try to set up for you and go around in circles. And then, oh, I'm getting somewhere, I'm going around in circles here, and now I'm getting somewhere, I'm going around in circles here, and you're going nowhere. It's all about progressing further. It's going deep into your own psychology. And how far can you go? What's the limit in a limited and scarcity based mind control prison of the matrix? Limitation. What is the matrix? Limitation. So what is infinity? Are we going from the third dimension into the fifth? Or are we rather, and I'm just bouncing that off you, okay? It's the latest intel along my Gnostic investigation, is that we're actually ascending through the Fibonacci sequence. I could, I could be wrong, but we're ascending not from the third dimension to the fifth. Could possibly also be one of those New Age hijack, couldn't it? But possibly we're ascending through the Fibonacci sequence. How does that go? What is the Fibonacci sequence? A little bit of mathematics here, because I never had time to get into school, having studied mathematics and history. You see this? That's the reason I'm not at mind control school. It's called Gnosticism. It's called the old Celtic traditions of Europa. That's why I'm not at school, because it's incompatible with the moral values of my heart. So one of the things I wanted to bounce onto you, and it's already a free flow of information sharing right here is when you study the numbers and the quality of numbers. This is one of the things I really like to get into. I have a really good feeling for that. Is what the numbers mean. Okay, what is the 3, the Trinity? How does it relate to the 4 that comes after that? Why is the 4 straight? This is the sort of investigation that I do. And the 3rd dimension into the 5th. Okay, the 5th being symbolized by the Vitruvian Man of Leonardo da Vinci, the uprighteousness. Okay, standing up for yourself. That's the 5. That's why Satanism has the downward 5-pointed star, the pentagram. Okay, the downward pentagram to enslave you, because you don't stand up for yourself, therefore you're a slave. That's how simple it goes. Okay, and you have the upright pentagram symbolized by the Vitruvian Man of Leonardo da Vinci, and that's the 5th dimension. But is it all? Is that it? Are we going from the 3rd into the 5th dimension? Or is there more? Is there more? So when the study gets even deeper and interesting, when you go from the 5, which for me, okay, along my investigation, I'm just sharing with you the original insight that I've got right now, is that the 5 represents the masculine principle. What are you gonna do, huh? I call it the Errol principle. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's being in your power. Self-defense, protection, guidance, trust in the source of all life, not that nothing can touch you. But does it end there? I don't think so. There's always more. Exactly, Mrs. Spacecake. There is always more. So then we ascend further into the 6. The 666 is interesting, isn't it? So how about, just like they wanted us to be programmed, okay, and I'm just going to light up my nice smoke and stay on course of this topic of investigation. How about the 6? Okay, makes things more round. Okay, the 5 has some roundness in it. It's coming in there, but it's still a little bit more straight than the 6. The 6 is more playful, a little bit more feminine. The 6, the sex, the gender, our roots, and what I would call the most important principle of natural order, along with the principle of care, which encompasses the whole thing, as Mark Passio is absolutely right about. But I think that the principle of care can be integrated into the principle of gender, to be totally honest. And the 666, the sex, and having sex, that's why Wilhelm Reich went deep into the study of the orgasm, as I learned from our dear friend Ahmed. That's really powerful energy exchange. And let me tell you that the Archons really don't want us to have love in our life. That's why I'm diving really deep right now in my journey. And that's what I'm going to share with you also here today. My own vulnerabilities. Because that's what it's about. Okay, I've got nothing to lose anymore. I've got nothing to lose. So I'm going to just share my story also on that. So coming back to the 6, okay, the 666. you relate that to the feminine principle of the masculine principle of the five when you try to put the gender principle into the numerological, the numbers, okay, which is a complete system of initiation. Okay, that's what, there's multiple systems of initiation. The ones I know about is, for example, the system of psychology. That's called the Enneagram. I can really recommend people getting into that. It's helped me a lot along my journey of shadow integration and knowing about the primal numbers that I have, where each center of the matrix-based chakra system, I also want to mention that, the chakra system is based on the workings of the artificial copy matrix of the natural order. But there's also other systems of initiation, also like numerology and also tarot. Tarot cards are also a system of initiation. And when you combine the 5 and the 6 as masculine and feminine, you get the 11. Isn't that interesting? And that is, the 11 is the second harmonic of the 2 in harmonic arithmetic. And I know I was going to go into approaching the pivotal point of taking back Austria, but that's going to come, okay? I'm not going off topic. I'm not going off topic here. So numerologically, exactly, Atlas Gunther is 11 equals 2. And the 2, isn't it beautiful to have a love right next to you? And I've been single most of my life. And that's, to share that with you, that's my deepest fears that I have. Something I've been suffering also. Today, just to share that the Gnostic takeover is not all about always being on top of things. You know, I go bonkers sometimes. But the sort of key thing to keep in mind, okay, and to have embodied, is that you do not cause suffering outside of yourself as you go through your bonkersness, because it's always going to happen, especially when you're part of the Gnostic takeover crew, which you are listening to this. You will be driven bonkers because you have to face yourself and your deepest fears, and that's my deepest fear, okay, not being loved, which originates from my lack of faith in myself. And that's just what it is. And I know I'm working on it. And that's just me being honest with myself and with my community. Because I think that's what we freaking need right now. Have you realized those energies out there are just, whoa, they're really crazy. They're really crazy for the mind, for our ego. But the ego is nothing that we have to fight against, okay? Just coming into alignment with it. So continuing on along this investigation, as we've been talking a lot about the gender principle lately, and that's why I'm talking every day with Ahmed, you know, to bring some sanity to my life and have the crazy, like really challenging energies that are hitting me come into alignment. And just breathe, as Morpheus says to Neo as he's vomiting, you know, in the Matrix. Breathe, just breathe. And he doesn't want to, yeah. But he'll better, you know. Breathe. It's our true nature, that love. And the 7, okay, moving on from the 5 and the 6, the 7 is sort of like the second manifestation number, like the 4, and it's the completion. However, it still goes on into the 8, from the 7 into the 8. And the 8, what happens when you flip it 90 degrees? Well, we've got infinity. That's what we've got right there. We've got infinity. And it looks like some really nice boobs. That's what us men have been yearning for since we came out of our mother's womb. Dear ladies, male psychology is pretty simple, but we're pretty straightforward, whereas you like to take turns and make us dance. And that's very challenging for a man to start dancing. Yeah. I can't even believe that I'm just sharing this with you, but it's good. I really like that. It's called honesty, with a little taste of humor. And the 8, that's a really interesting point. The 8 encompasses the 6 and the 9. You see, when you draw the 6 and the 9, you've got an all-encompassing shell to the 8. The 9, which means in German means neun. Neu means new. So you have one side, you have one orientation and spin of the electron, to go into quantum physics terms, and the other spin into the other direction, which completes the 0-point energy. Interesting philosophy, isn't it, through the numbers? So how about the New Age deception having infiltrated through all across the disciplines and getting it wrong, that we're not moving from the 3rd into the 5th dimension, with the 4th being, the lower 4th being sort of like the demonic dimension between, but actually from the 3 into the 5 along the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, so the Fibonacci sequence is 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So maybe we're moving into the 8th dimension, possibly also after the 8th dimension into 13. Through the infinity, the mysterious number 13 comes in, which the matrix rulers, archontic empire, termed as an unlucky number. Isn't that an inversion? Most possibly is. So it's good to see some comments here. Angelique, that symbol is a closed system, not my idea of infinity. Well, nice idea, worth investigating. Where do numbers come from? And doesn't have to be a closed system unless you look at it with a closed mind. So you only work with what you've got, and that's the only number system that I know of. Cheers, by the way. So getting to the topic, okay, that was a little bit of an excursion. And the integration of the feminine and the masculine is really important, and I'll get back to it. But what's going on with approaching the pivotal point in taking back Austria, the country that I'm based in? Although I love to speak English most of the times, due to Errol, due to Ahmed, and due to my family background, as my dad is English. we're taking back Austria, and we're taking it back fast. You see, you never know where your work leads to when you work continuously. And we've been doing our bit for more than a year now. It was actually on the 8th of May that we initiated our campaign in the city of Linz. Okay, that was the first demonstration that we did. And just a few days ago on Saturday, you can watch this on the channel Eric Blair, my backup channel. What happened there? And it was really, really interesting. Having 1 year of experience behind us. 1 year of experience for the first time in a movement. And you know what's the number one word that comes to my mind? Infiltration. Be aware of it. Be very aware of it. And as soon as you suss them, they ain't got a chance. Keep speaking your truth there, okay? And they can even be there, but you keep them in check, okay? That's how they can't get to you. And we had our full circle 1 year project finished on the 8th of May this year. And I stood on the stage and I totally went masculine when no one wanted me to do that. For those people who do not understand the German language of what I spoke there, I told the police there, which was really, really good to us. They were really, really peaceful and totally collaborative with us. So if you want a successful campaign, okay, and taking back your country, eventually you'll be led to what I started this video on, that there is no enemy. And that the system is the enemy, but that system only runs in your mind, okay? So there's no one out there that you can blame. But you can make them responsible. Something else. It's not creating enemies. That's actually standing up for yourself, once again. And the police was amazingly supportive during this whole time on Saturday. And I just was on the stage and I told them, we are here for you too. We're here for those of you who do not want to get vaccinated, okay? We're here for you. We're here for you. So do not succumb to the thought that you have to take this, okay? We're here for you. And we're taking our country back. I told them right on the stage. We're taking the country back. And the next thing I said was, it was pure, beautiful nature boy in connection with Mother Earth, saying, because we are the human family with heart, with a soul, and with the untouchable drive for life, which can never ever be infringed upon by no one. And when you listen to that on the channel Eric Blair, boy oh boy, the next thing I said was, we are the love that streams through our hearts, and the demons just went crazy. And this is what often happens when I do a speech. Someone goes absolutely crazy, because that's how the archons hack in. Could be 1 or 2 or 3 or even more people just going crazy at me. And in this instant, the guy went up like 10 meters away from me, or 5 meters away from me, and was like, "You Nazi, you Nazi." And you know what happened? The police took him out. That's how powerful the truth is. You get protected speaking the truth, your heart truth. And as a man, that is your heart. There were people telling me afterwards, "Oh, you fell into the emotion and you should speak more from your heart." I was speaking from my heart, okay? Because this is what also happens when you speak from the heart, is that others in your environment try and tell you, "Oh, you need to work more on yourself and you're still lacking in this." Fuck you, okay? Fuck all of them. Yeah, get as offended as you like. Fuck you. I am speaking from my heart. And boy, oh boy, does this world have fear about the real strong masculine energy coming forward and telling them the deep hardcore truth that no one wants to hear. So before that, at the festival, which we did without any problems, before that everything was fine, and yeah, we're just here to do some party and have joy and have fun, and everything was running right. And then for 1 minute I just took out the sword of truth of the Excalibur, because that's what needed to happen. Speaking the truth is, and that's my experience I want to share with you, is the most powerful thing, and no one is allowed to touch you. Let me tell you, this is a quantum reality. When you speak the truth, you're resonating on such a high level of vibration that no one is able to touch you, because you're in a whole different frequency field. What happens afterwards is that people, the environment, tries to get to you and make you doubt yourself, because you just spoke the truth and you made, created a major glitch in the matrix. They're trying to tell you, "Oh, you didn't do well and you need to work on yourself still, and that's not right. No, 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 you shouldn't do that." No, my will is stronger than the will of the environment. So don't tell me what to do. I'm reflective of my behavior, okay? When I get home or tomorrow, I will reflect on what happened, but don't tell me what to do. You work on yourself, but don't tell me if I didn't ask you. Okay, that's what we need to learn. Don't let people tell you what to do and where to learn unless they have a point. Obviously, in a good conversation, this always happens, okay, and I always have that, but not in these situations, okay? You know yourself best, and that's what true confidence is all about. So that had a really good impact. We had a good party after that. It was like, oh, what? We're in Corona times. You're not supposed to make parties. Well, guess what? What we do? We make party because it's our planet. That's the level of perception we need to get to. As I talked with Gareth Icke in my interview I did, which unfortunately is only available over the Iconic platform on Right Now, I think his show is called. Right at the end. Obviously, they put me at the end. It's not so important in taking your country back. Let's rather listen at what the PCR test is all about, because I've forgotten that it's not testing for. It's just so. This is what you have to put up with, okay? This is what you have to put up with when you share information, okay? That's totally beyond anyone's comprehension. You come last, and that's why I often fall into a little bit of a quagmire, a little bit of a sadness, because I can really relate to what David Icke said, when you're at the when you're at the capstone of information, it's a lonely place. It's a lonely place, and that's what I'm experiencing right now. But it doesn't change that I have to share this information with you, and also share my personal experience with you. So it went really well. because the police knows us after 1 year, and they know we're good boys, okay? And they know that we're actually the only way out for them also of this nightmare, because no one fucking likes this nightmare that we're in. So that's what building momentum is all about, and you have to start somewhere, okay? Starting is the most difficult part of it, but the more you do it, the more confident you get, and the more successful you'll become. So, yeah, we've got the police on our side. Before the event, I wrote directly to the Interior Ministry and put all the private liability on the unlawful corona measures and all the damages that happen and the entire money that this police costs at the day onto the Interior Minister. I gave him the responsibility in written form, writing directly to the Interior Ministry. What are you going to do, huh? Not afraid of you. That's the level of perception we need to get to. We own this planet due to our connection with our mother planet. It's that simple. Okay, so we command. That's what it is. And and the guy in charge at the day, he was so relaxed because he probably knew that I already put the liability onto the Interior Minister. That's why he was relaxed. That's how you do it. Put the responsibility onto their boss and make the boss deal with it, because he's a puppet of a criminal mafia gang that's got no balls and are a bluff. So you're gonna fear them? Pfft, no, no way. And from there now, okay, this hugely successful event that happened on Saturday, the 8th of May, I just registered my first own demonstration, okay, event in the city of Vienna on Saturday, the 15th of May. So we gathered the energy. This is pure shamanism at work, okay? So you've got the energy momentum going in Linz, okay? And in Linz it begins, that's our saying. And then you take that energy and you make it travel further. Yeah, let us expand that. Exactly what the dark occultists don't want you to do. That's why they hide, most of all, esoteric knowledge. So you carry that energy into the capital of the beautiful city of Vienna. I love it. I love Vienna. Come and check it out. It's amazing. It's such an amazing city, and it's really my vibe. And I wrote to them, to the police, friendly as always, because you have to be friendly when you're taking over the country. You see? You see, you don't have to fight when you've already won. Doesn't that make sense? And all you're doing is pulling the throughout the quantum realm of infinite possibilities in the future where you've already won, and you're pulling that future win perspective and you marry it with the one when you won. And the timing of that is decided not by you, but by the source of all life, from which the archons and all these demons also originate from. And they don't like it one bit, let me tell you. They don't like it one bit that that is so. And that's why we do the high commands, the high commanders of the highest source, because that implicates them directly, because the shadow is dependent on the light, not the other way around. Only in the deception is the light dependent on the shadow, which is a load of bullshit, as we know. To use simple terminology to understand major, fundamental, esoteric knowledge. That's why I'm not afraid. That's why I have a stack of fines here, okay? Stack of fines. and I don't even look at them. And I make videos and send it to the police, showing the fines and telling them that I don't even read them. Because in this system, I'm registered as a citizen of this country. And I just have to look this up. What applies to me is, I love that, the presumption of innocence. That's the basics of this law system. Presumption of innocence. And I'm entitled to a court case. So, how are you going to make a court case with illegal and unlawful measures? Not going to happen. So, therefore, I'm just going to gather toilet paper, as we say, because we know what the law is, as we've often explained, with it being contract-based and having to be insurable in an insurance system, just to keep it short, because there's other videos that explains it in more detail. So that's what a Gnostic does, and if also that is still not enough as insurance for you, then you write directly to the head of the police force, okay, and you give him 14 days time to react to what I did. For example, I made a peace agreement with the Interior Minister Nihama at the 4th of March, gave him 14 days to answer. Of course, didn't answer because he doesn't even understand what I'm talking about, because he thinks that he's in a hierarchy above me when I've got much deeper knowledge and access to knowledge than he has. And he doesn't respond after 14 days. And all you need is to look at the basics of a contract, where you just need your signature at the end, and you just say, if you unlawfully detain me or arrest me, that costs you 369 million euros an hour. They won't touch you. You see, that's real power. So, continuing on with the developments going on here in Austria, is I had major signs hit me. Okay, I can't get into the details, only the ones that come to my mind for now, but major signs that now is the right time to do it. And so I registered something for Saturday, the 15th of May, which is the 66th anniversary of the Constitution here in Austria. And maybe that's the day where the police finally finds out, and other people within the institutions, that it's the right time to form alliance, okay? Because whatever you want to do in changing the conundrum that we find ourselves in this world crisis, which is a crisis of consciousness and a crisis of misunderstandings. And the more we can understand the cause of the problem, the more we can deal with it. The cause of the problem is our wrong thinking, is our mindset. The cause of the problem is that we let our lives run by demonic entities, people that are hijacked in high positions of power, that think that they have a divine right to rule, which we need to prove them otherwise. That's why we talk about the natural order, which is above them. Divine right to rule. That's why these bloodlines wear the crown, to mock us, because we're the crown, okay? I have corona, or I'm in the process of corona, okay? It's my crowning. You're the virus. See, they invert everything. So when they mean the cases are going up, what they mean is the awakening is going up. That's what I learned from Errol, our dear friend Errol. Oh no, there's more and more people getting their crown. Therefore, cases are going up. Yeah, great. Give me some of that corona. Everything starts to look different when you see it in those terms. And you see through the illusion of the matrix, which is an inversion. And it's a big thing to say, okay, that we're taking back the country and taking back the planet through that, through the holographic principle, that when you take one pyramid of power, that's why we talk about activating the magnetics and activating the pyramid here in Austria, is because that is one hell of lost knowledge, lost on the entire human race. That's why they don't want you to know about pyramid power and how it really works and how to activate it. And you'll find out when you're at the site, okay? And you find out about the basic principles of shamanism, okay? What are the 4 elements in nature? How does it relate to the 5th element, the 5 again? So you've got water, air, fire, and earth, coupled with the spirit above it, as in the upright pentagram. In the macrocosm, how does it relate to the microcosm? It's mirrored back to you through your emotions. Water being emotion, air being joy, airy fairy, fire being anger. That can be a very, if you channel it, a very powerful force. If you can channel it correctly and integrate it. That's why the integration of violence is so important, because you don't have to use violence when you've integrated into yourself. Very deep principle. That is a masculine principle. And earth as fear. When 2 plates meet, 2 plates to earth plates meet, and they start to tremble and create an earthquake. This fear. Those 4, and the 5th, and I have to look that up also. My English is not the yellow of the egg. Shame. Who talks about this? Who talks about this? The 5th element relating deeply in the heart is shame. Being ashamed. And that's why the inner to the outer is so important, okay? You transform the outer through the inner. But you take action in the outer, okay? And in the meantime, you face what comes at you in the inner as the emotions. And let me tell you, it's one hell of a ride. For me also. Very challenging, okay? It's not like it's all easy. For me, and that shame really came up for me today, because I'm in love, and because of that, I'm very ashamed and very insecure. You jump off a cliff and you just keep falling, and every day you can only fall so much, and you ask yourself the question, how deep does it go? You can only take as much as you can. So during an ayahuasca ceremony or plant medicine ceremony, whenever things become too overwhelming, you've got archon manipulation going on, making you fall into the trap of being insignificant and not worthy and not strong enough, when actually you decide how deep you go in any experience. There's only so much you can take at one time. Who takes the whole load at one time? Not me, definitely. I take steps. And that's why we need long-term thinking and short-term goals. And the fear really came up with me today, as I said. Feeling ashamed and working on the project that I'm working at, which I'm also sometimes overworked. That's how I escape, by working. That's how I escape the pain. I find it difficult to just relax. Even do some yoga for a change, or some qigong, which really, really, really helps me. I find it difficult to do that right now. And I have other means of compensation. Like, for example, celebration. I'm not an alcoholic, by the way. Yeah, that's being honest. Escapism. I do it too. So don't worry. Don't worry at all. Okay? Those who do not mention it are too afraid to mention it. And that is the deepest strength. That's the strongest strength you can have, by being honest. What else can I be with my human family than honest? I love honesty. And you're going to be faced, okay, when you want to take back your country, when you get that calling, you'll recognize it, and you just go for it. And it's a beautiful journey, but it has ups and downs and rounds, and it's very deeply colored, and it's really chilled, and it's fun for a while. That's sort of like our deep friend Bill Hicks, who's there in spirit with us, the great comedian Bill Hicks. Big shout out to him. What a guy. Very, very deep philosopher. And that's how you merge the outer with the inner, and the inner is always, for me, more difficult. So I'm integrating the feminine right now within me through trust. And boy, oh boy, does it really go on your nerves after a while, when whatever happens is, oh yeah, just trust. Is there not something else? And then you just go out into nature. That's what I like to do. Just go out into nature and just balance that. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, that I'm going through a deep process. And you can only pull off the trick, the big trick of unhacking the hack of the matrix and ending up in original reality based on truth and freedom. So when you're doing the job, and you're taking down the mafia, and you're taking back the planet and taking back your country, you know what Mother Earth says in order for you to be successful? You know what Mother Earth, which question she asks when you're asking, I've been trying everything, giving everything for a year, and I still have to keep going, and I'm nearly burnt out, and I'm really, really overworked. What else do I have to do? It's too much. You know what Mother Earth asks? Tell me about what you love. Are you in love? When you're in the mode of taking action, That's the one thing that you wouldn't expect. So everyone in the truth movement keeps going on about contract law and common law, and you're gonna do this and that's how you get free. How do you feel about your love? Are you in love? Are you in love with life? And there was a great quote that I heard yesterday. I hope I can pull this up, which Ahmed shared with me. Hang on. Unfortunately, I've not got it here. But it was along the lines. Hang on, I have to find this. Yeah, got it. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. It's the fear. That's the main medium of energy hijack of the archons, is that fear. That's why it's related to the earth. Okay, as I said, these two plates of the earth meeting, creating that friction and an earthquake, the trembling. It's fear. Yeah, what a great quote. What a quote this is. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Hell is fear and transcending fear, and that's why the most fertile earth is black. Black. And that's where we get the great quote that I shared with you yesterday. And this is what I want to wrap this talk up with. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek, by Joseph Campbell. And that's what I mean with, oh, we just have to imagine what we want. No. Go into the darkness and let yourself be bathed by the cave you fear to enter that holds the treasure that you seek. Bath in that. And that's how we get forward. It's the micro and the macrocosm, okay? As below, so above. As I learned from our dear friend Ahmed, as below, so above. And then as above, so below. Transcending the matrix through the microcosm and reflecting that in the macrocosm, and keep having that interplay, okay? Keep having that interplay of action in the outside world and then facing what is challenging you in the inside world. How about your love? Are you in love? Keep going. Keep going, and always keep going. Take your days off where it's too much. But always remember that life is falling down 7 times and getting up 8 times. Everything else leads to suicide. We're strong. We're there for each other. That's what the Gnostic takeover is all founded upon. Steep sensuality, feelings, men sharing their feelings, even if they don't like it about themselves what they share. But that's the zeitgeist of this time, that We need to be sharing this with our human family. And that's how we move on. That's how we go along. I love all of you. Take very good care. And it's been great being back again on my channel. And let's rock the boat of the Matrix by blasting the Matrix from within the Matrix, which is YouTube. And make it our tube to get out of the tube and out of Plato's cave. Until next time, be the love that you want to see in the world.